I have to go back a full year because if you go back a whole year, Sean wouldn't have been there at that time. Brian would have been on the team. We lost everything at Penn. It was the first year in like 19 or 20 years we walked out of there with nothing. And for me, it was probably the most humiliating moment of my career. I was
leading off, and I was basically an 800-meter runner, and this was basically a 1500. So it was a little stressful, to say the least. It was my first Penn relays. Leading off, this may have been actually one of my first 1500 meters ever. Fortunate to have made this particular team, because actually it was the only one I won. I got it.
And passed off to me. I ran second, and like Sean, I was doubly nervous because that was my first relays. Truthfully, I have to pinch myself thinking about it every time. And I wasn't a 1500-meter runner by no stretch of the imagination. Like I said, there's, especially around now, I just pinch myself to wonder, like as I said, Marcus told me that I'd run 3:42. I had no clue. And my recollection is just running that race. All I kept thinking about was, I got to give the baton to John so that, you know, we're in striking distance.
The only thing I remember about John, and yeah, this is probably in all relays, but particularly in this one, Keyworth ran with a very sort of exaggerated sort of arm motion, and he wasn't the most. He was a great runner, but he wasn't the most athletic at times. And I was just waiting for the baton to sort of fly out of his hands.
The night before in Marcus's room was probably the best I've ever seen Marcus come out of his being humble, because he talked to us like he was like a general, and gave that speech of what he was going to do the next day. And sure enough,
and so I get the baton, and sure enough, I get it 50 meters down, and I'm like thinking, all right, so here's the job I've got to do right now. And so I think I caught up to Paul. I went out in 54 seconds, I think, caught up to Paul within a lap and a quarter, and then basically sat on him to the rest of the race.